What is up, you guys? Welcome to the Midnight Run. We are live here on Tuesday morning as it is 12:23 a.m. And we have a lot of news we're going to cover today. We're going to talk about CCXP. We're going to talk about Wonder Woman 84. The newest news from Christopher Nolan getting pissed off at Warner Brothers for putting all their movies on streaming platforms. It's going to be in theaters too, but he wasn't all that happy with how they handled it. But we'll get into that a little bit later. And a few more of the topics as well. What's up, Rasha? We got Rashnan here as well. What's going on, buddy? We got Jesse Allen in the chat. What's up, Jesse? We got Fear Jason in the chat. What's up, Fear Jason? Hey, and I'm telling you, Jason, if you still have that Funko that you made of me, dude, if you still have it and you want to send it to me, dude, I'll give you my address. And dude, I will gladly put that up right over here or here with the other stuff and have it as part of my background, because that was so cool that you did that. I don't know if you still have it or not, but if you do, dude, I want it. So definitely let me know. DM me if that's even a possibility, because I think you did a really, really cool job. So anyhow, we're going to talk about a lot of things here. And also, Zack Snyder was very active on Vero with some pretty cool posts, I think. One of them was pretty incredible. Some of them were kind of like, okay, what's up, Reese? So let's take a look at those first before we go on to anything else, because Zack is the man, and he's dominating 2020 at this point.
No shit.
Yeah, no, I'm serious, Arnold. He really, really is. So this weekend, he put up a series of posts on Vero. And if you haven't done so yet, download Vero 2.0. It's an awesome app. I use it every day. It's incredible. The features are getting better and better on that app. It's totally worth downloading and using it. It's such a great platform. Very clean, no advertisements. It's badass. So he started the week by posting this one, saying, "Let it begin." And here he is from what I understand, he is working on putting in sound effects and the sound effects and probably even the score for the movies for Zack Snyder's Justice League, which is pretty incredible that we've even gotten to this point. Which was, I mean, just putting that out there was just incredible in itself. He then also posted about a bagel. Got up early and made bagels from scratch. Looks pretty good. All right. So, got up early and made bagels from scratch. So he made quite a few of them. He even ate one of them. So one's missing, unless that's the one right there. The one that's missing in the corner. That could be that one. What does it mean? Does it have anything to do with Green Lantern? I don't think so. I think it's just a bagel. It's funny how you can put a picture of a bagel or bagels on a tray and everyone gets excited. This got, look how many likes it got just for a bagel. But that's the kind of power Zack has right now. Oh, yeah. And then he posted this one. Him using his Leica. And I believe it's the same Leica that he used to take the picture of Joe Manganiello, which was an awesome picture, by the way. So that was cool that he did all that. What did you guys think of his tweets or his posts on Vero? I thought they were pretty cool. We got Nova Joe. What's up, man? What's up, DC fam? I like that. But, the fact that he's even active on Vero still with all the stuff going on, I mean, that's just super cool, man. The guy's, you can't get, it doesn't get any better than Zack, man. I'm telling you. Let's see. Who else is in here? We got DC Talk with Extended. What's up, DC? Nicotine in the image, if you zoom in, it says property of Warner Max. Yeah, it does. Now, Rush, that's a very good point. I did not think about that. I did watch the interview. I watched most of it. I watched it while it was happening, actually, because I'm good friends with Matt, and but my kids were there, so I gotta finish watching. I gotta finish watching the rest of it. But it was really good, everything I saw. Then we got Sickness in the house. Get up, come on, get down with the sickness. And who else we got in here? I see some more posts coming in. We got James Lex. What is up? In 4K, so sharp. Am I in 4K? I don't know if I am. Let me see. What am I in? I am in high definition. How did that happen? I don't pay for that. Well, anyway, I'm not gonna say anything. But I'm hardwired now, so my internet connection is so much better. Guys, let me know if it looks good. Then everything's working properly. Reese says using the Leica is like the Killing Joke in a way. Yeah, it kind of does remind you of that. It really does. That's a good point. I like that. What else we got here? I'm so glad it looks clean. You know what? I had to crawl under my house, and the length of my house is very, very wide, on my belly, just to run this cord in here, because my internet was just tripping out too much. So now that's working better. I'm glad that it looks better. You're very clear today. Awesome. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Exactly what I wanted to hear. So, guys, this weekend had an event that took place. It was called CCXP. It took place in Brazil. Well, actually, it didn't really take place in Brazil. It was an online event at this point. And like most events that happen online this year, it sucked. It sucked really bad. You said it sucked, so you can't take it back now. Yeah, well, at least you admit you're wrong. Well, but we did get a clip from Wonder Woman. Isn't that right, R2? This. I know. I'm going to show that in a minute. Will you try? You can't rush the show. I have to talk about it first. Yeah, whatever. Don't listen to him. So, CCXP. What did we learn from CCXP? Well, I don't think we really learned anything, because they announced that HBO Max is going to have all the movies from 2021 on HBO Max and in theaters. But they announced that before CCXP, which I found very interesting. Why they didn't wait to announce it at CCXP, which means that they probably didn't put much into that. They didn't think that was going to be that wasn't a big enough event to use that as a platform to announce that major announcement, which I thought was kind of interesting. Because that's huge. Apparently, Margot Robbie is absolutely pissed with Warner Brothers. I hope she doesn't end up ruining upcoming plans. Why is she pissed, Jesse? Let me know. Oh, is it because they're going to put the movies on HBO Max as well? But look, guys, CCSP stands for a boring event. I know. I didn't even watch the event. I had to watch the highlights of it, and there wasn't really much highlights to begin with because it just wasn't really that good. Could they have made it better? I think they could have, but we got what we got. Let's see. Damn, R2 just shoot. He does that quite a bit. He does. You do. You do it. You don't even realize it. Whatever. So CCXP was the biggest flop of 2020, and that's saying a lot. Well, I mean, look. I think it's safe to say now that Justice Con was the biggest event that happened online. DC Fandom was, I think, a very, very close second. Even though we got more content in DC Fandom, I didn't like the layout and the format of DC Fandom. I thought that it was quite ambitious to have what they had set up, but the fact that they had to separate it into 2 separate days and have them be like 2 weeks apart, I want to say, or whatnot, or a month apart. I didn't understand why that wasn't the plan to begin with. Why they had to wait until the week of and say, hey, you know what? We're going to split this up and all the other zones or worlds will just be on another day. And we're going to just do the Hall of Heroes on day 1. But at the same time, they could have had the Hall of Heroes on a Saturday or on a Sunday and had the other ones on a Saturday. And, you could have it on 2 separate days. That way you have a whole weekend of it. I mean, and yeah, well, it was successful because of Zack, but at the same time, they did have some really cool stuff there. I mean, they had the Black Adam panel, which was really cool. What do you call it? Matt Reeves, the Batman panel was really cool. So they had some really cool stuff. I wasn't really a fan of the layout and how it worked. What's up, Lady Genevieve? Both sides need to be more understanding. WB could have communicated with their talent. A talent needs to understand that the pandemic has not been under control and has caused numerous delays. No, and she's right, and I totally agree with that. The fact that these movie makers like Christopher Nolan, let's say, or in this case, we're talking about Margot Robbie, is upset of how they're handling things. I mean, if they didn't, do we really want these films to be delayed a whole nother year because of COVID-19? I don't want to wait an entire year to see a movie that, like Wonder Woman, this should have come out last year. And obviously they didn't know COVID was going to be here this year and it was going to be a pandemic, but still, I think that you know, as fans, I mean, look, I want to see these movies. I want to see them. Am I going to see them in the theater? If my theater ever opens, yeah, I'll go see them in the theater. But until then, I'm going to have it on HBO Max, and I'm definitely going to watch every movie that comes out, especially the Suicide Squad, Dune, Matrix 4, Zack Snyder's Justice League, all of them. Lightcast be killing at the moment. Yeah, Lightcast and guys, do me a favor. Please do this for me. You guys, drop some fire emojis. Fire emojis.
It's fire.
For Lightcast. Today they had Henry Lennox on there. It was a great interview. I still have to finish it. Everything I saw was amazing, though. It sounds like I'm faking that right there. But no, what I saw of it was incredible. I had to work earlier, so that kind of took me away from it. But guys, they got Henry Lennox on the show. That is incredible in its own right. So hands off to Matt, Lady Genevieve, and Hussein, the real Hussein, for putting this together. So definitely check it out when you get a chance. It is straight fire. This is what Matt was doing.
Yeah! Look what I have created!
Let's see. There we go. Here we go. Fire in the chat. Fire for Lightcast. Fire. It's just a matter of time before Zach gets on like it. It really is. Fire for Lightcast. For Lady Genevieve and Real Hussein.
It's fire.
No, you guys did an outstanding job. It was epic. And you guys definitely deserve praise. Harry was such a sweetheart. He loved chatting. We love chatting with him. Yeah, I know. I mean, he seemed very relaxed and just in a good mood. So yeah, definitely you guys check that out. My hand got burnt. Ah, I know, right? Sika saying, "What's up, Lady Genevieve?" So, where were we? Oh yeah, CCXP. So it wasn't a success as we had hoped it was going to be. But at this point now, I think that they're just going to hold off on everything. Oh, someone say fire!
It's fire.
We got ACS Universe in the house!
Yeah! Look what I have created!
And ACS, if you want a link, I'll definitely send you one. I know it's pretty late where you're at. Yeah, it was a fire interview. Here's King of the Fire. Look at that! Everyone's lighting up for Anthony. Well, fire, that is, lighting up fire, not but still. So we talked a little bit about CCXP. It could have been better. I wish it was better. I wish it had more things that were more trailers, more everything. But we did get a couple of things that were huge. I mean, we got more than a couple, but a couple things I want to talk about is we did get a clip from Wonder Woman 84, and we got a new trailer as well. Now, the clip. Okay. Where do I begin with the clip? I want to see this movie. I think it's going to be a good movie, but I didn't like the clip. I didn't like it. Guys, let me know what you think in the chat. Did you like the clip or did you not like the clip? Yes, the MTV clip is what I'm talking about, Rasha. What did you guys think of the clip from Wonder Woman 84? I sort of thought it didn't look all that good. It was sort of like, hey, look, we're talking about a comic book movie, so I'm like, no, CCXP did not get the clip. MTV released that clip, but it was on the same day as CCXP, I believe. I could be wrong. Don't show the clip if you want to stay alive. I can't show the clip, even though I would love to show it. I can't show the clip because I'm gonna get taken down. But what I can do though is do this. Here, this is what we can do. No audio. We're gonna share screen. What's this? Let's see. Hold on. Okay, so here is that clip right here. What I can do is at least show you some of the scenes from the clip. Let's go. So here they are. They're being chased. There's Pedro Pascal as Maxwell Lord. This is the scene I didn't like. So when she's running in this scene, I felt that this looked. I just felt this looked very green screen. I felt that it there was no motion of wind hitting her face. It just all of this right here, it didn't look good. I'm sorry. Like I'm excited for this movie. Um, you know, I want to see this movie, but I just didn't like this clip. I thought it just looked really cheesy. There were some parts of it that were cool, but there were some parts of it I didn't like. Let me do one more thing here. There you are. Boop. Link sent. Okay. So if we play this now with oh, there we go. That was a clip right there. I mean, I just let me go back a little farther. It just looks like she's not even trying. She's just like, and then these guys are like, what? Ruh-roh, and then you got all the smoke, and then there he is again, Mando. The scene was cool. He didn't know what to do, but she uses the lasso to save him from a bullet. Where is it? Oh, it's a little bit further back. It just seems like if that was going to happen the way it did, that I don't know. It just seemed very cheesy. It just seemed very Justice League-ish. And that's what I was worried about. No, in Russia, I agree. Look, it looks a bit silly, but yes, I am very excited to see it. I'm going to see it. I mean, nothing is going to stop me from watching this movie, but I just felt that just this clip alone, to me, it didn't say a lot about the movie for me. Oh, really? God. Well, I mean, I didn't play with any sound. There was no sound, right? I didn't share audio. But I just showed some scenes of it, and we're done now with that. But I know I'm worried too. I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried because I don't want it to be a cheesy movie. I don't. But we saw a trailer that came out that had a much more serious tone, which I thought was really cool because that's kind of the tone that I wanted to see. Did you see the promo image of her pushing trucks apart? Her armor is all bunched up like a t-shirt. It's supposed to be metal. I know. Jesse writes, they keep saying Wonder Woman 84 is a big Christmas present, but you don't have your Christmas presents revealed early, so we need a major surprise present. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm gonna watch it. Don't get me wrong. It looks heavily and badly edited, in my opinion. The scene was not supposed to turn out like that, I think. Well, I mean, that's how it turned out. I mean, it is what it is. And yeah, it honestly looks a bit MCU-ish. I agree. I think it does look a bit MCU-ish. It's very bright, very colorful, but it just, I don't know. When you compare, when you look at the first Wonder Woman movie and you compare that scene, it just seems like it I don't know. It seems kind of cartoony. But I don't know. Yeah, it's comic book physics, but let's face it, if she's moving at that speed to catch it with the lasso, why didn't she just deflect it with her gauntlet? Yeah, see, when he shot the gun, I thought she was gonna be like deflect it, or maybe spin her lasso and start deflecting bullets everywhere. But instead, she grabs one bullet with her lasso and pulls it away. And in the very next scene, the gun's going just rapid fire. So which would mean that if she grabbed one bullet, there would be like 100 right behind it, ready to pulverize him. And so that's why I was kind of like, I don't understand. He just go bam, and they start firing. No, I mean it just I don't know. It didn't do a lot for me. I'm like I said, I'm still gonna watch the movie. I'm still excited for it, but I didn't think the scene was really all that good. It's about showcasing the lasso. Yes, I agree. It's about showcasing the lasso, but I mean, and like you said, it's not about realism. I know, but when you, I guess it's because if you're gonna bring up this whole, you're going to put Zack's Snyderverse in play, his Snyderverse is a little more grounded in the sense. I'm still comic bookish, still, people have abilities, powers, whatever. But I just felt that it could have been done a little bit better. And that's just me being honest. Will it be a good movie? I don't know. I hope it is going to be a good movie because I want to see it. I've been waiting over a year to see this damn movie, so I hope it's going to be pretty good. We got Benson Soys here saying bringing Steve Trevor back is just lazy. Well, I don't know if it's lazy. I mean, he's a good actor, and Chris Pine, and so I'm glad to see him back. But I think that I want to see how he's brought back. Because that's the question that everyone's wondering in this movie. Well, one of the questions is, how was he brought back? How are we seeing him? Is it in her mind? Obviously not. He's driving a freaking car getting shot at, so he's obviously physically there. So it's interesting to see how he gets brought back. Let's see. We got, what's up, Mad Matt? He says he actually had a single shot at him. Bam! Ah! Maybe he got startled. Oh, he hit a bump in the road. Oh! But yeah, to me, it didn't make any sense. If he's going to fire a shot, then there should have been a bunch of bullets flying at him, not just one. And they wouldn't be firing in a single line. They'd just be like, they'd be all over the place. So I don't know. I'm assuming the Stone granted Wonder Woman's wish to bring him back. Yeah, I mean, that's probably what's going on. To be honest, I initially thought the bullet came from a sniper. Quite surprised it came from a machine gun. Like a freaking mounted machine gun. So I don't know. I agree the execution could have been better, but I doubt it's terrible. Well, I hope it's not terrible. Yeah, she said that it's going to have a strong 80s feel. So that's why I think it's so colorful, because that's what she's trying to capture, is that feel of the 80s. I mean, we even saw in X-Men Apocalypse that they made a point to have very colorful outfits and, kind of capture that feel of the 80s. So, I mean, I get that. I really do. But I just hope that it doesn't. I just don't want it to move so far away from what they had established in the DCEU, because they were trying to go brighter and happier for a while, and that wasn't really working. It wasn't working for me, at least. So I'm hoping they're not trying to keep that going, especially with Snyder's Justice League coming out, and they're talking about just kind of reigniting the whole Snyderverse. Obviously, they're gonna try and do something with his universe. May it be its own universe, or may it be that's the main storyline. I'm not sure. And this is a prequel as well. So this came out. This all happened before Zack Snyder Justice League, because this happened in 1984. So it's gonna be interesting to see. But I'm still gonna watch it. I still want to see it. The thing that makes no sense was Cyborg deflecting those missiles. Well, it's cool. It's impossible for a missile to shift direction. I don't think they were really flying at him. I think it was a metaphor for his ability to control them. And that's why he was able to do that, because he's basically saying, I have all these at my fingertip and I can move them anywhere, but I don't want to do that. That's why I think was happening. I think he was understanding how powerful he is, and what he's capable of doing. I don't think I don't think the physical missiles were flying in the air. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't think that was actually happening. But we'll see. Deflecting the missiles wasn't real, though. It was just a cyborg's mind. Exactly. He was understanding like what he's capable of doing, and I think by doing that, he's saying, I don't want to do that, because he's still understanding how his abilities work. Lady Genevieve writes, I love Patty, and I'm excited for her to collab with Gal again for Cleopatra. Exactly. Preferably this time without any creepy man meddling artistic visions. Yeah, no, I agree. Let them do their thing. Let the content creators, the artists, do their thing. Because that's what movies should be about. Is about, freedom of artistic expression, letting them create stories for us to see without meddling from the studio. That's, in a perfect world, that's how it should be. Just announced Ayer Cut and Batfleck already. Watch the cash roll. I know. I'll do it for you. Ayer Cut is coming, and Batfleck will have his own series. If you don't believe me, go on the culture nerd. They'll tell you all about it. So I think we're in pretty good shape. What's up, Mel Siggy? What else is in here? Hi, Mel. I don't know why I did that voice. Yes, I will demand it from Santa, aka Jason Kalar. Yeah, I know. Cleopatra gonna be amazing. I think so. I think so. And I like how like what Lady Genevieve was saying is that I like how they're collaborating together. You're gonna have both Patty Jenkins and Gal in that same, doing a movie again. So that's gonna be pretty cool. ACS was going to join us, but I don't know what he's doing. There, I put him on blast. So let's see. So another thing too was, so guys, what did you think on the Woman 84 clip? I mean, so far it's kind of up in the air. I mean, we're all excited about the movie. We thought the clip could have been better. I think there were some scenes in there that just didn't really sit well with me. It seemed kind of cheesy, seemed kind of fake, but I still want to see it. I still want to see the story, how it unfolds. And the other question too is that, guys, do we think that Steve Trevor, is he going to live in this movie, or you think he will die at the end of it? Because in New 52, Steve Trevor was in charge of the JLA. So, who knows? Maybe he makes another time jump, or maybe he lives and then we see him later on. I'm not really sure. I hope it was in the mind, a dream, maybe, because Victor can control it. But the missiles as a weapon were limited. Yeah, no, and I understand, and that's why he was able to do that, because they weren't physically flying at him. It was just his mental projection of what he's capable of doing. I'll reserve judgment until I see it. Yeah, exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know how the movie's going to go. I didn't really like the clip all that much, but I do want to see the movie, and I'm going to see it anyway. So regardless, they're thinking of changing the HBO Max name to Warner Max. They're running this like a Twitter account. Are they really doing that, Lex? Are they really going to change the name from HBO Max to Warner Max? It would make sense because you're getting Warner Bros. Pictures movies on HBO Max, but HBO itself has a very strong reputation, so it's not really a name that you want to just disregard. But if that's what's happening, I mean, that'd be pretty crazy for them to do that. I thought they were getting rid of the branch of Warner Max. So that's interesting to see. Someone doesn't understand the concept of metaphor. Wonder Woman 84 clip running scene was Batman 1966. Bad. What else will happen? See Trevor walking up a building. Yeah, I know. Come on, Diana, let's go. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, they're considering it apparently. We'll see what happens. I don't know. You and Fatal in Matt's stream. What are we talking about? I don't know what you mean by that. It's rumored. Well, I mean, but it wouldn't surprise me. But I thought they did away with Warner Max altogether. So we'll see. The gemstone is not what? The gemstone is not a gemstone. It contains a special device Lord seeks. This device is capable of generating mass power from the stone. Don't want to spoil anymore. Okay. I actually like the sound of Warner Max better. Sick this. Who knows? They might go that route, and if they do, they do. So the next topic on hand is going to be Nolan throws some shade. Let's go ahead and pull that up right now. Christopher Nolan was not happy with how HBO or how Warner decided to handle their movies. So this article comes courtesy of The Hollywood Reporter. Christopher Nolan rips HBO Max as worst streaming service, denounces Warner Brothers' plan. I mean, he was not happy about this. And to be honest, and to be honest, I mean, yeah, he could be in a quantum leap like scenario. That'd be kind of cool. But to be honest, though, I mean, look, they don't want to lose Christopher Nolan. They're going to do whatever it takes to keep Nolan because they want that Nolan money because he's an incredible filmmaker. So that's not a market that they want to be out of. So I'm sure they're going to find a way to make this right with him. Banish to Steve Trevor. Wait, it started from Nolan? Wait. So it started. Well, this is when I first heard about it. Was from Christopher Nolan. Okay, so this article goes. Let's go ahead and read the article. Let's just go with that. Okay, so the article says here. Let's see. Some of our industry's biggest filmmakers and most important. I'm sorry. For many of the movie business, producers, directors, stars, and representatives, December 3rd, 2020 is a day that will live in infamy. Some of our industry's biggest filmmakers and most important movie stars went to bed the night before thinking that they were working for the greatest movie studio and woke up finding out they were working for the worst streaming service, Christopher Nolan said, whose relationship with Warner's dates back to Insomnia in 2002. So that's pretty harsh to say. Nolan also added, Warner Brothers had an incredible machine for getting filmmakers' work out everywhere, both in theaters and in home, and they are dismantling it as we speak. They don't even understand what they're losing. Their decision makes no economic sense. And where is it? And even the most casual Wall Street investor can see the difference between disruption and dysfunction. So he's pretty much going right at them. Let's see here. Hashtag Nolan for the Dark Knight for the fourth Dark Knight film. No, that series is over. There's some dumb shit to be vocally negative towards the studio that's been bending backwards for him, though. Right, but I mean, I think in his case, what he's saying is that he puts a lot of work into what he does, and now he's pissed that they're not, putting the movies out the way he wanted them to. Because I mean, he's all about having it in the movie theater for the sound, for the theater experience. So let's take a look as well. Hold on. He goes on to say, or the article goes on to say, on that now infamous morning, Ann Sarnoff, whose ungainly title is chair and CEO of Warner Media Studios and Networks Group, and Warner Brothers, film studio chairman Toby Emmerich called the heads of the major agencies to drop a bombshell. Warner's was about to smash the theatrical window, sweeping its entire 17-picture 2021 film slate onto its faltering HBO MAX service. Faltering HBO MAX service. I don't think it's faltering, though. I don't. I actually think it's probably, I think it's better than a lot of other services out there. It's one of my favorite. It's actually the one I go to first because they have just outstanding content on there. So, but if they want to say it's failing, then by all means, I guess that's your disposition on that. That's your view on that. Debating on the same day that it would open in whatever theaters could admit customers. But I mean, here's the thing, though, you guys, you can't look. You could be upset about this, right? All right, later, Rasha. You could be upset about this, about how they're going to put it on HBO Max. I'm not. I'm excited for it because I want to be able to see it, whenever I want to. Because my theater where I live is not open, so I can't even see it in the theater. I haven't even seen Tenet because my theater never opened up. So, for some of you out in the world and in different countries, different states within the United States, you were able to see it at your theater. Okay, that's awesome. Congratulations for you. But where I live here in California, I haven't been able to see a movie in forever because they're all closed. So for me, having the option of watching on HBO Max, yeah, I'm going to take that option because I want to see these movies. I don't want to just not be able to see them because my theater is closed and I have to, watch everybody else talk about how good a movie was or how bad a movie was, but I'll never get a chance to see it because the only way that I can watch it is if I pirate the movie, which I don't want to do. So yeah, James, I agree. The article is clearly a hit piece. It's a hit piece against Warner Media for making this decision to put the movies on HBO Max. But look, the thing is that they're putting it in theaters as well, so they're giving you the option to do that, to go see it in the theater if you want to, if your theater is freaking open. Mine is not, so that's why I'm glad that I have the option of watching on HBO Max, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to see these movies. But I mean, I guess if my theater is closed, who cares, right? And Nicotia trying to cancel theater. No, I'm not trying to cancel theaters. I want theaters to be open, but I'm being realistic about this. If my theater isn't going to be open, Okay, so if your theater never reopens, I'm forced to have to wait for the movie to come out on video on demand and pay a premium to go see it to see it, at home. The fact that they're putting it on HBO Max is incredible. They're giving the consumers the ability to watch it at home because they don't have a choice. Also, some people don't want to go to the theaters because of this whole pandemic that we're in. So it gives them the option to stay home and watch these movies. I mean, we don't know when this pandemic is going to go away. We don't. And so I think giving people options is the right thing to do, in my opinion. Mortal Kombat is currently reshooting, so don't expect anything this month. I want to see Mortal Kombat. I think it looks badass. Last time I saw Birds of Prey. Interesting movie. Nolan is totally right. The point is not about how, it's about where. WB should give more credit and back those theaters in harsh times. Well, I mean, they're putting it out in theaters. I don't understand. So you're saying that they shouldn't put it on HBO Max, it should just be only in theaters. The Joker, is that what you're saying, that it should only be in theaters? Because if that's the case, then I'm not going to be able to see it. I live in a small town in California. I'm up in Northern California. So, and if I drive an hour away from here, it's closed. If I drive 2 hours away, it's closed. So I'm not going to drive 4 or 5 hours to a different state or city just so I can see a movie. It's not economically, it doesn't make any sense. So I'm not going to do that. So if I get the ability to watch it at home, I'm going to take it because I want to be able to see these movies. It's either that or I wait an entire year and hope that COVID goes away or it gets under control. And as Lady Genevieve said, it's not under control. It's not going away. So what options do people like me who don't have a theater that's open, what options do we have? Well, we have HBO Max. But others would say that we shouldn't have that option because it's canceling the theaters. Well, there's not much theaters can do right now because of the pandemic, most of them aren't even open. So I don't know what else to tell you. I'm happy it's going to HBO Max. Do I want theaters to go away? No, I don't. The theater experience is unique and it's a wonderful experience, and I don't want it to go away. Not available in Australia yet. They should just drop them on 4K physical media the same day. Well, then you're totally taking it away from ever being in the theater if you own the film physically. But I mean, I that's your point. I really do. So anyway, check out this article on the Hollywood Reporter. Does kind of feel like a hit piece, but it is what it is. Now, also today we saw something kind of cool. Let me see if I can find the banner for it. David Ayer dropped a tweet today. And so let's go ahead and take a look at that. And here it is right there. Let's blow it up. There we go. Blow that puppy up. So it says Bell Rev Security Housing Unit Tier Team. That was pretty cool. That looks like it was one of his drawings. I don't know what it's referring to. I think obviously Bell Rev was the black site that they were kept at. But the housing unit tier team, I'm not sure. Oh, it's secure. So I guess this is what they would have had on their uniforms. The security. What's this? I didn't go to theaters since January. I have kids sickness. Why would I want to wait more? Are you kidding me? My only point is we can wait because the vaccine is right around the corner. Well, we'll see about that. Jack says, I'm going to the movies to see Wonder Woman 84, Mortal Kombat, Suicide Squad, and Resident Evil Remake. Right on. Times are changing. Theaters are going the way of video arcades. We'll see about that, James. We'll see about that. But I don't know if they're going to go away like for good, like arcades. I don't see them fully going away because I mean you still have a huge market for it. It's just a matter of if the pandemic can be under control and people don't have to worry about, getting COVID-19, which is like rocked the whole movie industry. Whether Nolan is right or not, besides the point. He's out of pocket and being unprofessional. That's the same shit he needs to discuss with the studio. Okay, I see your point. Someone points out the writing on the bottom. Let me see. People are saying they see January. What? Let me see. Hold on. Oh, I could kind of see January right there. Hold on, Jesse. Hold on. Here, get out of the way. There we go. I mean, there is something right here. You can see my cursor, and it looks like it kind of says January, but I don't know. And there's also something up here too, which I don't know. I can't make that out. But it just looks like this looks like it's more of just lines, kind of like what you see over here as well, and over here. So I don't know. But I don't think he even put anything into this as well. I mean, he didn't say it. There's Jeffrey Warfield. There's Jesse right there. But he didn't really add any comments to this. He just kind of put that up there, and that was it. Interesting. Well, that was the tweet from David Ayer. Now, another thing that happened today was this. Well, not really that. There we go. This is courtesy of Variety. So this article, hold on. What's up, dude?
What's up? Enosh's stream just ended, so I'm rating you.
Oh, right on.
Yeah.
Now, how do you pronounce your name? Is it? How do you pronounce it?
Metropolis. Think Metropolis, but replace Opolis with Obelisk.
Metropolis.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
The same city that Superman lives in, but
right
doesn't have an obelisk.
Exactly. So, we're talking about the article here from Variety, talking about Dune producer Legendary Entertainment may sue Warner Brothers over HBO Max deal. Now, they're saying that basically they were not negotiated with when they made this decision to put it on HBO Max. But okay, so let's go into before I get my take on it. So, Legendary Entertainment, the production company that co-financed Dune and Godzilla versus Kong, may take legal action against Warner Brothers over the studio's decision to send its movies to HBO Max at the same time they debut in cinemas. Legendary financed a significant portion of Dune, which looks amazing, by the way, which costs roughly $175 million, and Godzilla vs. Kong, which carries a price tag around $160 million. Yet the company was largely kept out of the loop that their films would be included in Warner Brothers' plan to send 17 films in its entire 2021 slate to the subscription streaming service and any open movie theaters. So here's my thing, though. Once again, it's like there are those that don't have the option of seeing this in the theater because my theater never opened up. It's still closed to this day. Is it going to reopen? I don't know if it ever will. So I know I see what they're getting at, but I just feel that it how do I say this the right way? I think if you have a theater that's open and you're able to go, then you don't see what the problem is. But I don't have a theater that's open, so I want to be able to, see these movies. But I guess I don't know. What do you think about this?
With regards to the potential lawsuit,
yes,
I think that the lawsuit could spell doom and gloom for Warner Brothers, depending on the deal. Because I had read that Legendary had actually financed a good portion of the Dune movie, and what was the other one that was more recent that's going to streaming? What's first going there?
Godzilla versus Kong. There is we would say Dune, Suicide Squad.
Well, because the thing that I'm referring, what I'm remembering back to. Remember when Frank Darabont sued AMC?
Yes.
This was about 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm. He was the showrunner of The Walking Dead.
Yes, for the first couple seasons.
I think it was just the first season. Yeah.
No, he went into season 2.
Oh, he did go into season 2?
He went up to episode 4 or 5 and then was fired.
Yeah, he was fired.
He had sued him for unpaid royalties. So I think what Legendary is going to be arguing with regards to their lawsuit is what's the residuals going to be like for him. Because now Warner has this vertical integration, this vertical monopoly. They can hide the numbers on HBO Max, whereas releasing it to the theaters, Legendary has direct access to those numbers.
That's true. That is true.
So I mean, Warner, if they really wanted to, and pardon my language, if they really wanted to be jackasses to Legendary and withhold royalties, they absolutely could. So in order for Legendary to get paid, they're going to have to probably take Warner to court. And just a fun fact, Stan Lee actually had to take Sony to court back in like 2002, 2003 to receive his royalties on the first Spider-Man movie, if you remember that.
No, I don't.
Oh, well.
Your theater is open. Well, and they were playing Die Hard. Oh, my God. The irony in that. Okay, so the article does go on to say this, too. Now, Legendary declined to comment, as did Warner Brothers, obviously. I mean, this is all just happening today. Part of Legendary's frustration is that despite largely bankrolling Dune and Godzilla versus Kong, the production company didn't have much to say in how its busy titles would be released. I mean, that's the major thing, is that they weren't, kept in the loop over this. And so that's why they're so pissed off. Lady Genevieve, check your Slack and then you'll see the link. Moreover, the company felt that Warner Brothers wasn't being transparent with its intentions months ago. Netflix had discussed a possible sale of Godzilla vs. Kong for a hefty $250 million, but Warner Media, the parent company of Warner Brothers, blocked that arrangement. Now, I want to say that, because Netflix was talking about purchasing it. Denis Villeneuve.
Denis Villeneuve. It's French Canadian.
Villeneuve. What?
It's pronounced Denis Villeneuve. It's French.
The director of Dune is similarly disappointed with HBO Max's plan and would prefer a traditional theatrical release for his movie. And look, I understand that, and I would rather see it in the theater myself, but I can't see it in the theater. So, look, is this going to continue on past 2020, past 2021? Are all movies going to be going to HBO Max and in the theater? I think it all depends on if the pandemic is still in effect. If the vaccine hasn't, the herd immunity hasn't kicked in yet, I don't see anything changing. I don't.
Well, let's also look at the all these movies that have gone straight to streaming. What have been the most successful that went straight to streaming?
Well, so far nothing has.
Actually, Trolls and Scoob.
Yeah, Scoob did pretty good as well.
Semi-successful.
But Trolls was the main one, yeah.
It's all these family movies that are doing really, really well. Do you think a movie like Dune is going to pull in the money that Trolls did? Probably not. Godzilla vs. Kong, probably not going to pull in the same amount of money. Because you're talking about, a potential, the family market. Not only do you have the parents, you've got the kids as well.
Well, I mean, but that's the whole thing, is that when you have a family movie, kids movie, I have young kids here too. And so when Scoop came out, I put it on immediately because they wanted to see it. It's a kids movie. It's something new. The kids can't go out anymore. I mean, they can't. I have a big backyard and all that. But I mean, they're watching more movies, even though I don't want them to, but they are. And so when a new movie comes along, a kids movie, yeah, I mean, I want to see it because it's something new and something for us to do together. But Lady Genevieve, what's going on?
Hey, man, I figured I would come in since I'm awake. And you're apparently awake too.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm on the West Coast. I'm not sure where you're located at. If you're on the East Coast or Central or wherever.
I try to stay quiet with my location just because the internet is creepy. But yeah,
it's a very creepy place. Very creepy place. So I really don't blame you. But I mean, this whole thing that's going on with Legendary threatening to sue Warner Brothers over the HBO Max deal. Christopher Nolan saying that basically you went from working from a great company to working for a crappy streaming service. In so many words, he didn't say crappy, but he said the worst. What do you make of all this? I mean, do you think that they have do you think they have valid points? Like, do you think Christopher Nolan has a valid point in what he's saying?
Well, okay, people have to remember that Christopher Nolan has always been a purist, and I don't mean that in any bad way at all. He's always been a huge advocate for film. I was reading something, I don't know when I was reading this, but it was way before the pandemic happened, where I don't know how many years ago this was, but he had kind of convened some sort of meeting with a group of well-known directors in Hollywood and brought them all together to screen something on film, and he was trying to really push them to like when they're making their deals to do films, that they need to ask to use film, because if they don't continue to ask, then maybe that won't be an option anymore and you'll have to do things on digital. So I just wanted to like bring that up so that people have a context of Christopher Nolan has always been that guy. Now, I understand why, and this is genuine. This is not a situation where like I refuse to have an opinion. It's like I genuinely see like a lot of people are making valid points, but also a lot of people are clashing, and I get why they're clashing. Because like you got people who are pushing for, you know, more accessibility, because you're making the point about like where you're living, the theaters are not open. So they have to come out on streaming or else you don't get to see stuff. That's a perfectly valid point. But also, we're going through the growing pains of the industry where things are changing. So actually something Harry had brought up today during the interview was that there's a lot of stuff that hasn't been figured out yet to do with salaries and royalties and whatnot. Like he was talking about the history of film where actors didn't even used to make royalties. Right. So I think that's why you're seeing so much conflict right now, because it's like the industry was already changing because we've got all these streaming platforms happening. So just the entire market is going through a shift. And then you factor in a global pandemic, which like, I'm not laughing because it's anything funny about it, but it's like, it's the most extreme thing that you didn't even think could happen. Right. So you've got all these moving things that are changing and changing way more quickly than people were prepared for. So everyone is just scrambling like chickens with their heads cut off, just trying to figure things out. So honestly, I'm not really mad at anyone in this situation, because I genuinely feel like everyone is just doing their best. Maybe the execution is not perfect, but nothing is ever going to be perfect. So I'm just like enjoying the mess. Like, I think it's funny more than anything. Like, I'm just making jokes about it on Twitter with memes, because it's like, listen, at the end of the day, these are rich people fighting each other. And that's fun that for once they're not pestering us. So like, let them fight it out. Let them figure out the deals that they need to make. Like the content will come out whenever it comes out. Like for the most part, most of us will get to see the stuff whenever it comes out in whatever format is best for all of us. So like maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just the lone person who's just like not panicking about any of this, because I'm like, well, it's just how things go. You track the history of the film industry. Blockbuster used to be a thing. Blockbuster's not around anymore. Things change. Like, it's just inevitable. So
can I ask you a question? Because I wasn't in this part of the conversation, Genevieve. Are you willing to let theaters go?
No, I don't want them to go, but also they're not open everywhere. So I'm saying I don't get like, you know, not everybody has the accessibility to go see them in the cinema. If the cinemas are open in your area,
right this second, my concern, like, because I don't care about like because actually, Nicotina, once you left, we got into the whole thing about contracts and all this stuff that you guys are talking about right now. My concern is not about all that. Of course, they're going to work all that stuff out. I don't care about all that. They can figure out where the money goes and who gets the money and all that stuff. Here's my concern. I live just outside of Flint, Michigan. Okay. I've watched my entire city decay over the last 30 years. And this is one more thing that I have a large Cineplex right around the corner from my house that is awesome, that I love, that, you know what, already isn't the coolest, biggest one in the area. So that one, you know, the one down the road in the rich neighborhood has the IMAX in it. Okay, in the rich town, right down in Grand Blanc, that has the IMAX. That's where everybody flocks to because they think it's a super cool one. I like this one because it's still state of the art. It's nice, and it's, you know, it hasn't been around that awful long. My problem is if stuff like this doesn't get worked out, and if movies are taken out of theaters or they're put into digital forms like this, where we say, well, we're going to release them too. And I said this over on my channel, so I don't mean to just keep repeating it, but because we're having this conversation, you and me now. What's going to happen is that the theater isn't going to survive. Yeah, they may get this all worked out, you know, at some point in the next couple of years. My theater is going to close, and not only that, but it's going to sit there an empty husk of a building for however long until they tear it down. And that bothers me. And it also bothers me the fact that theaters in general, you got to have something in the theater for it to survive. And this idea that, well, we're just going to put everything on streaming. I know plenty of people who like their whole thing is, I don't care if theaters survive or not. I don't care if they survive or not, as long as I can watch it on my 65-inch TV at home. Who cares? I care, because movies are made to be seen on the big screen. That's where I want to see the movies, and I want to be able to have that option. You give me that option, I'm fine. But just I think there's too many people blindly thinking that this kind of stuff can happen where theaters are undermined because they're making little money now. Theaters can be undermined like this and still somehow be there for when you want to see your big tentpole movie. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, when the big Star Wars movie, whenever the next Star Wars movie or whatever comes out, oh, well, I'll go to the theater then. How are you going to go to a theater then if nobody was able to go to a theater, in the 2 years leading up to that? Or, I mean, regardless of the pandemic, right? The pandemic is a whole other thing. But then when you have the industry starting to screw around with that and make it worse, that's is compounding the problem. And but this idea that I see people are kind of being apathetic towards it, that's the only time that I'm starting to get a little frustrated with it, because I see people being apathetic towards it and saying, well, yeah, I'll go see the big tentpole movies when they come out, but I'm going to watch everything else on HBO Max, because isn't that great? I can watch it from home. It ain't going to be there, is my feeling. It ain't going to be there for whenever we all decide to get around to go into whatever movie we want to see at the theater. It just, that's how I look at it. I mean, I agree with you that we have to wait and figure out, and see how it's going to play out. But I also think that people who love movies need to voice their opinions, and they need to make it known that when all this is done, we want theaters to be able to survive, regardless how I'm not saying that the theaters don't need to take some responsibility in making the theater going experience better, whatever that looks like. I really hope it's not what Matt Jarbo, what you put in your video that we didn't even talk about on my channel, where like you have a comedian get up before the movie.
No,
okay. First and foremost,
like, let me give you a hard time about it, because I didn't give you a hard time about it on my channel.
Okay,
that was a terrible idea.
But to be fair, what did I preface that with? Right, what? I said like Thursday nights, 8:00. You have like a trivia thing before a movie.
Yeah, but you said, the comedian thing though was just like in front of your regular movie.
No, I meant that at the same time. Like I meant it like at not like every. You don't need a comedian to go in. Before,
that's what I was saying. Like that's why I messaged you back right away, and I was like, I was literally listening to your video in the store, like that I was in shopping around, and like every time you'd ask the question, well, should we do this? And I'd be like, heck no. And you're like, well, should we have a comedian before the movie? Heck no. Should we have trivia night beforehand? Heck no.
Look,
I've been to local theaters where they have a trivia before.
That's fine.
And it can be fun, but I don't want to do it every time.
I didn't say every time. You
said every time.
But you meant it.
I said Thursdays at 8 p.m. because fuck Seinfeld. That's why. Okay. No.
It's must-see TV.
It's like the idea there is to build, again, like I said, these theaters are going to have to start working on their community outreach. All right? Because Enosh, like I said on your stream, man,
I know.
You're passionate.
I am.
You're passionate. The average person is not going to go back for a while.
No, I get that.
So there's got to, so all the blustering and bloviating about like, theaters are going to, the thing is, like, we have no control over any of it. Period. And these companies have still got to find a way to make money. So
no, I get that. I get that. But in the meantime, though, if nobody voices their concerns about it, then the studios are just gonna.
But do you see anyone in the media talking about those of us who are mad about theaters? No. It's Margot Robbie didn't get $10 million upfront payout for Suicide Squad.
But that's what Genevieve is saying, is that like we're watching these rich people get mad at each other. So in a sense, it is quite comical, because I mean, now they're the ones getting mad.
Yeah. I mean, Enosh, like I understand because you love going to the cinema, and I feel the same way. But also, my opinion and probably why I'm not as like my energy is not quite at where you're at, even though like I do have a similar adoration for going to the cinema and seeing the films there on the big screen with the big sound system, is that for me, the way I look at the cinema is that it's the sort of starting in the 20th century and now into the 21st century, it's the current version of the most, like, storytelling is something so fundamentally intrinsic to the human experience, in my personal opinion. So for me, like, if we think about the theater still exists, and the theater has existed for hundreds and hundreds of years. Yes. Now, maybe not everybody goes to the theater as much, and there's probably other reasons for that we don't need to get into, to do with like accessibility and like the cost of theater tickets. But the theater didn't go away, and the theater is not going to go away after the pandemic either. It's going to have to make some changes, and like I'm sure they're going to have to probably experiment with different models about maybe like online streaming their shows for a while, because it's not necessarily the safest thing to cram a bunch of people into a theater to do a show. So we don't know exactly when they're going to get things back on track. But I kind of feel that way about cinemas, where like, listen, it's going to be a bumpy road, but I'm not really like, I'm not saying that zero theaters will like, I think that some cinemas could close because, you know, some are small businesses, and like, I think that's a very real risk, but that's the same risk that like a lot of businesses are facing in the pandemic. And we've already seen it over this past calendar year of a lot of things closing, even like really beloved local neighborhood spots. And like, I'm not saying that I'm not sympathetic to that, but it's also like, I'm only one person and I can't feel like everyone else is paying for them.
I get what you're saying. Where I kind of branch off is and see it a little bit, see one thing differently between what you're saying and what's happening right now is yeah, I'm fine with if, you know, the pandemic takes things down and some like little mom and pop places have to close, or some places aren't able to stay open, whatever, you know what I mean? Like those are the places that really need to stay open, but okay. I'm fine with that. But you know what? But when a corporation in turn basically tries to put the nail in that coffin, which is how I look at what is happening right now, is, hey, we're just going to do this. We're just going to turn this corner right now, and we're going to put the proverbial nail right in the coffin of all these businesses, of this industry. And we're going to just do our own thing because it's more profitable for us to just offer our stuff on streaming and pay lip service to theaters, because that's what they're doing. They're paying lip service to theaters. They at this point they've pretty much played their card as far as I'm concerned, because like I said on my stream, they're not going. I understand Warner Brothers has said, oh yeah, it's just a 1-year deal. They are not going back after the profitability that they're going to have this year off of these movies, because they're going to make money on these deals based upon what Disney is making alone on just having the Mandalorian. Once these things start kicking in and people realize that they can do this, and this whole plan starts kicking in, you know, they may not hit HBO Max may not hit Disney numbers right away or whatever, because Disney has the name and they've got, you know, the backlog catalog of Disney films and all that stuff like that. But look, you know, people are going to flock to this, and they're going to make money. They're going to make a lot of money this year based on the fact that people aren't going to the theater, and they're not going to come back from that. They're not going to relinquish that kind of power once they have it. And so what I don't have a problem with is the natural order of things, where some things have to die out. And so what I do have a problem with is when there's an attack on something and we just sit back and say nothing. We're consumers. And look, here's the thing. Amazon is great. I can go on my phone right now and buy stuff at Amazon. But you know what stinks? In my city and cities all across the country, there are now huge empty buildings and people out of work because Amazon is more convenient for all of us. I'm not saying I've got an answer for it, and I'm not saying that it's bad. I'm saying it's bad though. And if we just live our lives based on convenience, which is what we do nowadays, I'm saying that's bad for all of us because we're not looking at all to the future. We're not looking at all as to what we're getting ourselves into and what kind of future we're building. And I'm not saying this is some old fuddy-duddy to just say, well, I just want things my way and the old way. I'm not doing it that way. I'm just saying we're just focusing on convenience because that's what everything is. It's super convenient to be able to do that. It's more convenient to be able to order something on my phone and have it delivered to my house than it is to go to a store.
Enosh,
and I'm just saying it's going to be the same thing with movies now.
I don't expect to talk you off the ledge of like, you're clearly, you're very passionate about it and like your feelings are totally valid and like, I'm not. But one point that I will present, like not just for you, but for the whole panel and for anybody who's watching this now or watching the playback, is that the other point that I would add to like the various things that we're all bringing up to do with this whole topic is that making films and making these mini series or whatever types of programming that are, that we're entertained by is very expensive. So like they're ultimately not going to make the money if they're just sitting on their film. So they have to get released. And if the cinemas are not open, they don't have a choice. I understand why you're worried because you've laid out your points very clearly, but it's like, no matter what direction they take it, it's a bad situation. Everybody's just trying to make the best of a very, very bad situation. So they have to figure out a way to keep the wheels on the bus. And, whatever the bus is going to look like in a year from now, in a couple years from now, we don't know. We can speculate until our faces turn blue. But, I just want to remind everybody that like they need some money coming in through one means or another so that they can continue to make new content, because sitting on the Matrix 4 for the next 3 years until the cinemas are back to pre-pandemic operating standards is not going to work for them.
It's not going to work. It's not going to work. And it's like I was saying earlier,
did you read the article, Nicotina, that we read before?
Which one?
Well, because there was the Hollywood Reporter or whatever
I read a little bit of that as well.
Yeah. Well, because it's not just people like me now who are talking about this. I mean, now it's like, so you got Legendary Pictures talking about it, and they're upset. So you got Warner Brothers making a decision based on, we all understand they got to make money, and I get that they got to make money, and I totally agree with you, Genevieve, on that aspect, obviously.
But I think that aspect they could have handled it differently. They could have.
They've got partners,
but that's on them. That's not on the whole. I mean, that's on them of how they handled that situation. They should have been transparent, but they didn't, and they're going to have to solve that problem.
Yeah, I'm just saying there's so those are even other aspects of this that,
that's just, that's there was no foresight. I mean, they should have known that was going to happen.
That's what just makes it seem more like a knee-jerk reaction, like, well, we're going to do what we want to do. Like, what I mean? Like,
but at the same time, though, what Lady Genevieve is saying is absolutely true. You cannot sit on your product for another year. Like, you have to do something, and at least you can say that they're putting it. They're putting it on HBO Max and in theaters to say, hey,
I
look,
agree, but they need to be transparent, though, because I don't believe for a second that their plan is to go back to the old way.
We don't know that, though. But what Tony said earlier, I know he's in the chat, but what Tony was saying earlier about the idea that what if these companies start to go under and these studios start buying these companies? And for the most part, you smelled it. That's kind of weird.
It's great. I know it looked weird,
but hey guys, I gotta get to bed. But the movie theaters for life.
There you go.
There you go. All right.
But I mean, if these studios are buying these theaters, so let's say AMC is ready to go, belly up, and all of a sudden Time Warner comes through and buys them. They might even change the name. They may keep the name AMC because it's a brand, but it's owned by them now, and so now they have control over putting their movies into that theater, and so now they can make a bigger profit off of their movies. So a lot of things can happen from this, but for me, I have not been able to see any movies at all. I haven't even seen Tenet. Because my theater is still closed.
It either.
Yeah. And I've heard so many mixed reviews about it. I've heard it's amazing. I've heard it sucks. I've heard it's Nolan's worst film. but I've never seen it. And I know that you had a chance to see it, Enosh, because you went to the theater and saw it. My theater never opened. So for me, from my perspective, I'm glad they're doing this because I want to be able to see these movies, because I know that if they didn't do this, I don't have a shot in hell at seeing these movies at all.
Mhm.
So
I just think the timing of it, like to do it at the same time, I get like if you put it on the streaming service and like you're trying to make your money back is fine, but like I think for me it's the do it on the same day, because if you do that, then it kind of eliminates the other. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that I totally understand the idea of having to make money. Like, I get that. Like, you know, I mean, like I said, I've put a lot of, one of the reasons why I'm kind of as passionate as I am about it is because like, I do love all this stuff so much, but then also like I put a lot of time into reading about it and trying to find every source that I could about it and everything. And it's like, I think that's what it boils down to me as far as like, yeah, they need to make their money back. I get that. And I don't have a problem with that.
And the entire 2020 was them getting delayed after delayed after delayed. Like every theatrical release, it was like one delay after the other. And every time they like tried to just push it back by a couple months because they're like, oh, we'll get this sorted in a few months. And then it didn't. So we're talking about like a lot of money getting lost and a lot of money getting thrown out, not just by not releasing the film, but it's like you've already paid for marketing things. That's why you saw stuff getting advertised even if the film didn't come out, and it looked really weird because you're like, okay, cool, you clearly set up this marketing thing like months ago, and now it doesn't even make a difference.
We all saw Doritos bags with Wonder Woman on it and all that stuff. I mean, yeah, we get that. Like I said though, like to say, well, next year though we're going to release it all on the same day, but that eliminates the people who are in markets where they can go to the theaters, you know.
It partially does, but let's say you're in a market where you can't see it. Are you going to go see it in the theater? Yes, you will.
Yeah, lots of people will. I mean,
lots of people will.
I don't think lots of people will if they're already paying for HBO Max.
But I have plenty of coworkers who are younger than me in their 20s who feel that if they had a chance, if it was in the theater, they would go see it with their friends. And they go see it, with their significant others, girlfriends, whatever, because that's something that they normally would do on the weekends. But they're like, yeah, I it's closed. What do we do? Mm-hmm. You can't do anything.
What no one is bringing up is the potential logjam that's going to be coming down the pipe within just a couple years, because all these movies are getting delay.
Exactly. So you have to unload.
So, what's going to happen is, you're going to have these, 5 to 7 blockbusters released on the same weekend.
Don't laugh.
You're going to have 5 to 7 blockbusters released on the same weekend. Let's say you've only got money to go to 2 or 3 of them. Which ones do you decide? Do you want to go movie A, movie B, C, D, E, or whatever? What's going to happen? Now most people are going to enter into analysis paralysis, and then they're just going to say, screw it, I'll just wait for it to come on Netflix, HBO Max, or I'll wait for it to go to Redbox, where I'm going to pay like a tenth of the price to go see it in theaters, and now I'm able to see them all on my own schedule. So why wouldn't I, why wouldn't I take that option? And also, another point I wanted to expand off of was the idea of, look at where Marvel is right now. Can Marvel genuinely afford to continue holding out? Because with Falcon and Winter Soldier, that was where it's supposed to come out when? In September?
But didn't they have to stop shooting?
Yeah, they did.
Start later?
They just had to continue. No, they just had to reshoot. Was all they had to do. They were done with the reshoots.
Oh, I don't know. I don't have Disney Plus. I'm not giving them money.
They've been done with Falcon and Winter Soldier for quite a while, but they have to keep pushing it back because it builds off of a plot point from Black Widow, and Black Widow's already been pushed back to April 2021.
I'm not seeing that either, so I don't care.
But still, I mean, Black Widow seems so old now. It's like, man, that should have come out such a long time ago. I mean, it's so sad to know that it hasn't even come out yet.
The point that
I don't care.
Well, you've established that. You don't care about that.
Yeah, that's but Nicotina, I'm never on your show, so I never get to like spout off my opinions, and I don't upload often enough that I don't really get to like regurgitate every opinion that I have about every piece of like pop culture media.
No, but like, and that's what I want to hear your opinion, and that's why I think it's funny, because it's like it's cool. I like hearing other people's opinions. But look, I mean, at the end of the day, look, the industry itself, is it going to change? Yes, it's going to adapt to the environment that it's in. And right now, this is the environment that we're in, is where you have to put stuff on streaming because not everyone feels safe going to a theater. Not everyone can go to a theater because they're closed everywhere. I'm in California. My theaters are closed. I'm screwed. So
yeah, and also people, I mean, like, there's a very alarmist attitude coming with all of this. And like, obviously, a lot of that is understandable because it's a lot of change happening that's very big in scale and it's happening very quickly, or it feels like it's happening very quickly. And on top of that, it's just the general like elevated levels of anxiety and stress because we're in a global pandemic. But what people need to also remember is that, like, not to be condescending, because it sounds like such an obvious thing to say, but everything always changes. Like, if you just track back through film history and like the film industry history, things always change. Like when the streaming platforms were first getting announced and starting to pick up, people used to, like, directors, big respectable name directors, did not want to go anywhere near Netflix. They were like, I don't want to go make a film for Netflix because it's just going to go on Netflix. It's not going to get released in the cinemas. Mm-hmm. But now, fast forward however many years later, and you have like Martin Scorsese coming and doing a film for Netflix. You have like Zack Snyder doing his film, like all these people that are coming and doing their films for Netflix. And like, there are upsides and downsides to going one way or another. If you release straight to Netflix, I mean, there's definitely you're probably going to get higher numbers of how many people are going to watch your thing. But also, you don't have to deal with the MPAA. You don't have to deal with like weird time restrictions of like, no, cut it down to exactly 2 hours. So you kind of have like pros and cons. You just have more options now. So it's,
there are definitely good things. You know, I agree with you. Change is always going to come. But I also believe that every change that comes is not one that we should just sit back and accept, because there are some changes that you need to look right in the eye and go, nope, that is not something that's good for everyone. And I guess for me, we talked about physical media. I mean, look, and there are some things that we can see, like there are some things that we could go, well, that's an alarmist way to look at it. And then there's some things that you see what these companies are pushing for. Like, just like when you look at streaming, when you look at the studios and the streaming services and like my cable company, even that wants me to buy a movie from my cable company so that I have it on my cable on demand. But I don't have a copy of that movie. And we talked about physical media before Nicotina, came over here. We talked about physical media a little bit. Like that's the whole point. They want to control their own stuff so that you can only get it from them when you are giving them money repeatedly for it. And that's the whole point of like a streaming service. That's why the stuff, they've been able to do it somewhat in the past with like Disney would bring something out of the vault and put it back in the vault. And then they bring it back out of the vault. You can only get it for so long. And then you get it. And if you missed it, oh, sorry, you can't get it.
And now pirates thing, so nobody cares.
Nobody cares about that anymore.
Well,
like that's become obsolete.
That's the problem. It's like the music industry. When people respond and go, well, you know what? Now I can get it for free and I don't care. Then it screws up everything for everybody. And that's why the music industry is an absolute shambles. That's why music is worthless to people, an art form that affects people in ways that they can't even express and even explain, is now considered worthless. Where like if you ask somebody to buy your song for 99 cents, they act like you're raking them over the coals for something, yet they'll, drop money on other art forms or whatever and not have a problem with it. Yet a lot more blood, sweat, and tears probably was put into making that song. But that's a whole other thing. But like I said, I just feel that there's some things when you see when we as consumers see stuff like that, and I know it's never going to happen because people, the same thing with music, people are like, oh, I can download this for free. I can get this for free. So I'm just going to do it, because they don't think about the ramifications. Then when people wake up and they go, oh, well, there's no more of this types of jobs and there's no more of that types of jobs and there's no more of this and there's no more of that. Then they complain about how it's everybody else's fault. But yet we went along with all the changes. And that's just kind of, you know, that's the thing. There's definitely changes that are good, that are innovative, that can be very, very beneficial. And I believe that a lot of these things, for as far as entertainment, as far as home theaters, as far as being able to have this, you know, the capabilities that we have are great. But I just feel like we got to look at the bigger picture. And as citizens, you know, sometimes we got to make our voice known. And you know, and so I just tell people, if you love movies, and you want the theater experience to be around, don't just be quiet about it. Make sure that people know, because if there's nobody talking about it, then people should be talking about it.
But I don't think any of us are being quiet about it. I mean,
I'm not saying that.
Those of us that are specifically on this panel, as far as I can tell, I mean, we all have our platforms. Like, we have YouTube channels, we have social media. So we're all hyping up stuff where we're like, hey, I really like this. This is something I'm into. I think you that follow me should also be into this thing and support it. So it's like, you know, I think I get that this is something you're passionate about, but also
well, like, because I've had people tell me literally to my face and say, well, I don't care. Movies can movie theaters can go away for all I care.
They can say that though, man. It's their opinion. I mean,
I'm not saying it's not their opinion, but I'm saying that's why I'm going to be equally as passionate, because when somebody gets in my face and tells me that I don't care if movie theaters go away, okay, then I'm going to be equally as passionate and say, then I need to be doing my due diligence then to make sure that they don't.
Yeah.
You know, because for every person who wants to sit and watch their 65-inch screen, I got one too, but I also want to be able to have the option. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, well, I'm just reminding you essentially that you're preaching to the choir on this panel, because
but you guys aren't the only one listening. There's other people who are listening, though.
Right, but I mean, none of us here want to see theaters go away. None of us do.
Yeah, but that's what I was going to say is, like, I don't think people who, like, don't care about cinemas are watching movie/television YouTube commentators. I could be wrong on that, but at least, like, I don't feel like I get
the majority, at least the majority.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, you're honestly, like, I think you're much better off doing what I'm assuming you're already doing, Enosh, which is just like when you're in day-to-day conversations with people, like in person, people that you actually know outside of the internet, you know, those people who are less informed about things, then those are the people that you're better off, like, putting that energy into, like, all right, like, this is something you don't understand. So I'm more than happy to, if you're willing to listen, then I will break this down for you in terms that you can understand, so you can get a better sense of what the situation actually is, since maybe you're a bit misinformed because you're not, like, rigorously keeping up with this. Because it's another extension, essentially, of, like, the different types of art that get released, because we have, like, casual moviegoers who kind of just want to see some generic blockbuster garbage that doesn't really mean anything. Mm-hmm. But then you have people that are really into films and art and cinema.
I get that, but with that kind of description right there, nobody should have ever fought for the Snyder Cut. Because the average person should have just stayed at home and just talked about it to people that they came in contact with, because there was enough people on the internet. Because when we're all here on the internet, we shouldn't even talk about Snyder anymore, because we all love it. And why even talk about it anymore? Because we got it coming. It's coming. The Snyder Cut's coming, but yet we all still talk about it. We break it down. We enjoy it. And so I'm sorry, this is who I am. So when people come and watch my channel, or I'm on somebody else's channel and we're talking about a topic, that's just what I do. You know what I mean? I'm not yelling at you. I'm not telling you how you should.
No, and feel. I don't think you are.
No, I know. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to be rude to anybody. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to stress the point then to everybody. If you love this stuff, then yeah, have those conversations with people around you, and also make sure that you vote that way, that you put yourself out there that way with your dollars, with how you spend your dollars, what companies you spend your dollars with, and how you go about choosing maybe the streaming services that you use, how often you use them, and what you use them for. Because I'm going to tell you right now, yeah, I'm going to have HBO Max, but I guarantee you, and I've talked to Jonita about this. We just talked to Jonita about this the other day. Like, I swear to you, if the end of this month comes and I have the ability, I am going to make the trip outside of my state. If my state does not open up in the next, because we had movies back and then they went away, but I got one state over that I can literally drive 5 or 6 hours to. I will not watch Wonder Woman on HBO Max until I've seen it on a screen. If I can help it, I will not be watching it Christmas Day. I can tell you that. I will not be watching it Christmas Day because I'm not making that trip Christmas Day. But if during that week, I definitely will.
So even if your family says, "Hey, let's watch this movie,"
I will not watch it. I will not watch it because that is not how I want to take that movie in for the first time. That is not how I want to see that movie. And I'm sorry, even the ad campaigns doesn't want you to watch it that way. This is all just some new thing that it's like, hey, watch it at home because you can. That's not what I want to do. Like, I'm serious about this. Everybody, and that's the thing is, like, I talk to people about it, both my friends online. I mean, I've talked with you, I've talked with Dawson, I've talked with, Ryan, I've talked with, Anthony. We keep having these discussions and people act like I'm joking, like that, like, oh, well, he'll watch it anyways.
I don't think you're joking.
I'm not saying you,
lady.
I'm not saying you, Genevieve. I'm just saying, I keep saying this to people and then they keep like questioning about it, but like, really? You're not going to watch it? Yeah, really. I'm not going to watch it.
I mean, you may have that feeling, but I don't think the majority of the population does.
If it gets 2-3 weeks out, and there's no way, like, or like if I'm at that point and I realize that the 2 states by me, that I'm not going to be able to see it in the theater. Okay. Like that, there's no physical way that I can see it in theater. If the state that I can go to watch it is shut down. Okay, there's nothing else I can do about it, right?
So unless you're handcuffed, you're gonna wait to see it in the theater, regardless.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, and I'm not the only one. There's other ones, that are saying this, and that's just how I feel because I am that committed to this idea that I don't want the first time. Look, I've explained this before. I realized this about myself probably only recently because it was with Bill and Ted 3. That I realized.
Yeah, you've said that on like every panel.
Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
No, I'm fine. I'm just saying that like this is always when you're explaining it. I'm
sorry. That's how I realized it about myself was with that movie because it was not the excitement that it should have been for me because I was like, I'm watching it on my TV. Okay,
and
I do not
had to go. He was getting tired.
I will not have that same experience with Wonder Woman if I can help it. There is no way. I am too passionate about DC characters and about seeing that movie and have waited too long to see that movie.
Yeah, I agree with that. We waited a long time to see this movie, but
that's honestly more embarrassing than all of this drama to do with like cinemas and streaming platforms is just the fact that like they shot themselves in the foot. That's what's so embarrassing about the situation is like this was supposed to have already come out before all of this nonsense happened with like a global, oh my God, nobody could have like anticipated, at least not like a regular average everyday person. Nobody could have anticipated a global pandemic. And it's like, really? You could have had this out already. Like I forgot how early they were promoting this. I was like, oh my God, you guys were at San Diego Comic-Con. I completely forgot like how long ago that was that you were promoting this and you could have released it already. Like, oh my God.
Well, I will just tell you this, Jesse, I have a 65-inch screen, 4K TV with surround sound. So I don't know what else to tell you. It's not the same. Just having it be really loud.
Not the same. It's not
having
the same.
It be really loud and 6 feet long is not the same as looking at. You can't recreate that. I mean, unless I'm standing 6 inches from my TV, like I'm not going to be able to recreate that.
Well, I mean, we saw a clip from Wonder Woman 84. I mean, what was your take on that? On how it came out? That clip. I personally didn't really like it all that much. I still want to see the movie. I think it's still gonna be good, but the clip itself, I wasn't a huge fan of. I'm kind of deviating a little bit, but the clip where she's running on the road and they're shooting at her. You didn't see that?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen it. I mean, it looked fine to me. I mean, it didn't really look any different than any of the trailers to me. I mean, it didn't change me as far as like that. I mean, I don't know.
I would throw you off on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you were looking for it to like be something different for me. I mean, like it's all right. I mean, it was good. I mean, I didn't think it was bad.
Well, Nicotina, with the clip, I honestly, I feel like I've kind of seen the clip, but I feel like I kind of haven't. I honestly have seen more of just annoying DC petty arguments on Twitter of people trying to pick it apart, like frame by frame, and nitpicking these details. And listen, speaking from the perspective of somebody who has done editing of video essays to do with films, when you stare at things that closely, like frame by frame, and you're like really picking things apart, even the best art, like you can find things where you're going,
Yeah,
oh, well,
of
that's not
course.
quite right or whatever. And it's just like some people, like, listen, I'm not accusing either one of you of this. So, like, don't misunderstand me
You're
bringing
just
this up.
talking, yeah.
But there are some people that, like, they've already decided they don't like Wonder Woman 1984. And, like, I'm not saying that they're right or wrong for that, because you can like whatever art you like. I'm not here to police, like, what your preferences are in art. That's fine. But it's like, if you've already decided, that's just confirmation bias. Like, you've already decided you're not going to like it. So now you're going to find any excuse in this clip to pick it apart when you were never going to like it in the first place. So I just, like, this is also why I don't really follow a lot of new people on Twitter. Like, I'm perfectly fine with socializing with people, but it's like, until I know that you're not going to mess up my feed, the ecosystem, with petty arguments, I don't care which side of the argument you want. I just don't want to see it. Like, people just want to argue about, like, you're looking at these, like, frame by frame. Listen, when you're watching it, whether you're watching it in a cinema or you're watching it in your giant home theater for the first time, everything is going. You're not stopping to pause it and look at the freeze frame and checking, like, well, I don't think her outfit's quite right, and I don't know about this. Like, when you're caught up in the heat of the moment and the music's going and the adrenaline is happening because the story is, like, getting you in there, like, it is completely different. It's like, your job is to watch the entire story play out. Your job, you are not the movie editor. You're not. So like, it's not your job to pick it apart. And it's just inevitable because of the advancements of technology. Like, people have the ability to pause things and look closely and zoom in, and they go, oh no, that's not right. But, like, just relax. You don't have to like, if you don't want to like it, you don't have to like it, but you can just, like, go watch whatever your favorite thing is. Like, we all have our comfort things we've been tuning into this year of, like, oh, that's my favorite movie. I've watched it 11,000 times this year. I'm going to watch it again because it makes me feel safe and it makes me feel happy. If you don't think Wonder Woman 1984 is going to be your thing, then, like, please don't complain about it to me on Twitter. Thankfully, most people have left me alone with those arguments, but my God, relax, have fun. Take a nap.
And it's one thing to voice your opinion, let's say, right here on my show, but I don't have the patience to do that on Twitter. To just, it just, I don't know. It's just not really for me.
I'm in full agreement. There's too many people doing exactly what she just said.
Yeah,
they're trying to pick everything apart, and that's why we got fandoms the way that they are nowadays. Everybody's so freaking picky and complaining about everything and feeling
Star
entitled.
Wars. I mean, Star Wars right now
entitled to everything. My
mess.
God.
Yeah, it's just.
It's like, if they didn't do what I wanted to do, then I hate the movie all of a sudden. Doesn't matter what went into it or what the story is. I can't accept it. So.
Yeah, I mean, like, people, listen, I'm not saying that there are no valid arguments to be had about certain people being involved or not involved in the creative process, comparing and contrasting the first Wonder Woman film to the second Wonder Woman film. I'm really, like, tiptoeing around saying a very specific person's name, but, like, I'm sure everybody knows who I'm whatever the verbal version of subtweeting is right now, like, who I'm dancing around and who had more control over this project. Do I think that that's apparent, at least based on the promo, that a certain person had more say and was sticking their fingers into things more than they should have? Like, yeah. And do I think that shows in the final product? Yeah. But it's also, like, I don't think it's fair to I don't think that the project is so far gone that it's like you can't see Gal putting her heart and soul into playing this character, that you can't see Patty Jenkins having a story that she wants to tell, and that you don't have like, all these different performers that are coming on board. Some of them are returning, some of them are new, that they're not, like, giving their all. And that's the thing about movies, is that they're so big, they're so massive, and there's so many moving parts to them that it's like, the line is going to be different depending on like where you draw the line, where you're like, all right, nope, that's too many infractions. I'm not into this. Like, and then you're done. But like, I can agree with like some of the arguments to be had about like, okay, a certain person was far too involved in Wonder Woman 1984, and you know, that's more evident, like the maturity or the gravitas. Like, I don't think that that's there, and I wanted that to be there. Okay, fair enough. That's a fair enough argument, but also like, I think it's counterproductive to be like, oh, it's just an MCU film. No, it's not an MCU film. It's Wonder Woman. Like, it's still Wonder Woman. The MCU films are the MCU films. Like, this is still getting to exist in its own space. Whether or not you like how it's being done is fine. But like, the MCU is so clearly like, that is a corporate machine. It's a factory churning out like each new installment, each thing. Like, the stories barely have any resolution because it immediately just segues into the next thing. It's literally, it's that, you know, the I Love Lucy thing with the chocolates going down the line and they're like scrambling to just, well, anyway, I don't know if that reference is too old for, I don't know who's watching this, but you know, it's like that. So, you know, it's so not the same thing. Like, you might not like Wonder Woman 1984, but it is not an like,
that's not an MCU film.
No,
but and earlier when I said it, you know, I was agreeing with Sickness when he said it looked MCU-ish, and I'm saying that in the sense that it was a lot brighter, more colorful, kind of the same tone as like Shazam. But as you stated earlier, you know, there were some other people that had their hands in this, so that's definitely apparent. But I'm still excited to see it. I still want to see it. I'm still going to see it. I think it's still going to be a good movie.
Yeah.
But I mean, the clip that we're talking about, I mean, like, I can critique it all I want, but at the end of the day, it doesn't represent what the film is going to be like. That's why I said I still want to see it. I still want to see how the story unfolds.
To be honest, I'm not a big fan of promo. Like, I'm not saying that promo shouldn't exist, because obviously promo has to
too
exist.
Much promo, but too much promo gives it away, gives up too much of the movie and the story, which I don't like. Because go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think there was an interview that I saw at one point where Michael Fassbender, I don't remember what he was promoting, but he had said something to the effect of, I would honestly, if it's possible, I would prefer to see a film without having even seen the trailer. And I totally get where he was coming from, where obviously you have to make a trailer because you need to let people know that the thing exists. Otherwise, they're not going to know to go see it. But like, for the most part, it's like, I want you to tell me as little information. Like, I only need you to tell me just the absolute bare minimum information to let me know that a thing exists, and that will be enough for me. Now, I don't think that that's a universal principle that should be applied to marketing to everyone, because I do think that other people, you need to really put on a smaller show to get them to come see the big show. Yes. And I get that. But for me personally, I'm like, listen, you could just give me a list of like, what is the film called? Who is directing it? Who is writing it? Who's the cast? What's like the very, very bare bones premise? Maybe like the genre or genres. And I'll be like, okay, yeah, or okay, no. And that's usually enough for me to decide. Like, I don't need to actually see the trailer most of the time. I'm like, no, I'm good. I can just see it. Like, even Zack, like when Zack Snyder's Justice League got announced, I was like, I don't need them to release a trailer for this. Just drop it, like, whenever it's ready to go. But, you know, like, I'm going to see it. You don't need to convince me.
But at the same time, though, I think that, you know, like, I know, like, growing up in an age where you relied on the trailer to build up hype and excitement for the movie, and but back
in the day, nicotine.
but some of them did and some of them didn't. But the ones that didn't give away too much of the film, well, yeah. But I'm saying, like, you still, you know, it would only give you so much of the movie. Now it seems like trailers just give you pretty much all the good scenes right away. Some of them do, at least.
Well, some of them give the entire freaking movie away.
Yeah, exactly. And it's unfortunate, but I mean, it happens all the time.
You can call the entire movie and be like, oh, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. Okay, got it.
Well, it's like in BVS, the last trailer that they released was the worst trailer that they could have released, because I mean, that's the one that showed Doomsday. That's the one.
Oh my god,
that showed all three, you know, the Trinity together, which basically just negated the entire fight between Batman and Superman, because you knew at the end that while they're fighting, as cool as it was, as much as I love it, first time I saw it, I knew, okay, well, I know later on they're gonna be friends, because I know they team up with Wonder Woman to go fight Doomsday, and I shouldn't have known that. I should have never have known that. That should have been something that you discover as the story goes on, and it surprises you, and that's why, like Lady Genevieve was saying, the movies that I've seen in which I did not even see a trailer for, or sometimes those are the best movies. In fact, one movie that I like a lot, it's a comedy. It's called Idiocracy.
Oh yeah, absolutely, great movie.
And that movie, I didn't even know it existed. And then a number of years ago, my wife and I were just watching TV, and we landed on a movie channel. Remember, on a movie channel, and it had just started, and we were like, "What is this?" And we watched the entire thing. It was hilarious, but it was hilarious because we didn't even know what it was about.
I think foreign films are better at doing that, where they give you the trailer, but like you don't actually know what the thing is. Like the Parasite trailer, I had no idea what Parasite was going to be when I thought it was going to be a horror film with something popping out, because they have a thing in the trailer with like a blood spatter. So I thought it was going to be like Alien, something popping out of somebody's chest and just go, bleh. But that was obviously not what happened. And then also the Spanish film Dolor y Gloria with Antonio Banderas. I had no idea what that was going to be. And then I saw it and I absolutely loved it. I bawled my eyes out because it was so beautifully done. So, I mean, I don't think it's just the language barrier either. I just think they're better at being like, oh, we'll just give you like we're going to give you a vibe. So you can come for that vibe, or you don't come.
Well, hey guys, I love you guys. I always love having discussions with both of you. And
we are going to end this.
It is 5:04 in the morning.
It's 2:04 over here, and I do need to go to bed as well, because my kids will be up in about 5 hours, and I have to hang out with them and spend time with them. So it's going to be a challenge. But 3. But guys, Enosh, Lady Genevieve, thank you so much for coming on here and having this discussion on the show. This was a lot of fun. And this is the first time I've had Lady Genevieve on the show. So thank you so much for coming on here.
Yeah, no problem. I mean, I was editing and then I was exporting, and I was like, all right, well, I'm going to be sitting at my computer anyway. Let me just
might as well, right? Yeah. So
might as well talk to Nicotina.
That's it. So real quick, I did describe it on Point Extra Lounge earlier tonight, about a couple hours ago. But there is an event coming up. It's Deck the Hall of Justice. It's going to be on December 20th. It has a huge list of shows that are attached to this. Den of Nerds, Multiversity, Women of the Watchtower, World's Finest, Point Extra Lounge.
Yeah, woohoo! Whoop, whoop, whoop,
Point Extra Lounge. Woo!
Whoop, whoop, yeah.
4 Nerds, League of Mayhem, Real Emotion. What's that?
What even is this? Because I've seen this image floating around on Twitter, and I've seen the schedule, but I'm like, I don't even know. I am always out of the loop because I'm just off in my own little world, being like, I don't make enough videos, and then I'm just like trying to make content. And then Lightcats,
Matt's gonna have his show. It's actually the last show on the docket for that day. It's basically the entire event is built around I can't even talk. I'm so tired about raising money for AFSP. We're trying to raise money for the Autumn Snyder Tribute Fund. So we want to reach Zack's goal of $50,000, and we want to pass that goal because he set up that goal, and we want to do everything we can to meet that goal. And so we have this entire slate of shows set up to do that. All of which will just be working to raise money for AFSP. And some of them will actually have the link right below the like where the description is at. The link will be right there, the button where you can donate right there on the spot. And we're also and I'm in final stages. Tomorrow I'll have it finalized. I'll have an international panel as well. That'll have 2 shows from the UK, 2 shows from Spain, a show from Argentina, and a show from Kuwait will be a part of the international slate as well. And then we also have India? That is also in the works as well.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, like, Indians love Zack Snyder's Justice
They
League.
do. There was a huge market in India, so that's another market that I'm actually that's another area that I'm going to be going after as well. But hopefully, I'm trying to get all that done by tomorrow. Hopefully, because I want to be able to put out a schedule for the international so everyone can see it and get ready for it. And the international schedule, they're going to be basically each one of those shows will be streaming at their normal time locally, so that their viewers and their fans can, watch their shows at their normal time. And guys, one more thing too, if you haven't done so yet, check out Lightcast's interview with Harry Lennox. I would call him Harry Lennox, actor, director, and producer. It was really good. I was there. I was able to see it live, which was awesome. But of course, my internet was tripping out the whole time. But it was a really cool interview, and guys, check that out. And that's on.
That's because Martian
Lightcast
Manhunter
well.
was messing with your internet.
He was messing with the internet. I know. He really was.
He was
guys,
so coy. He was trying to not let it slip that he's Martian Manhunter, as if we don't already know.
I know, really right? I know. It's like, oh yeah. So, and then at the same time, you guys check out the Four Nerds recent show with Wonder Meg. That was last week. Really good show. We had a lot of fun. Lots of laughs in that as well. And also for Deck the Halls of Justice, we're also having a video submission event where you can basically submit a 10 to 15 second video of yourself saying a few words of appreciation and gratitude to Zack Snyder or the RT or Release Snyder Cut movement. Just a way of giving the fans a voice. And so we're going to take all those videos, put them in compilations, and play them at the beginning of each show. Each one will have a different video. It's going to be a lot of fun, so definitely take advantage of that. The deadline for that is December 12th. And guys, I just want to say one more time, thank you so much for coming on here.
Yeah.
And I'll be back, I think, actually tomorrow night. Actually, I'm supposed to be back. Yeah.
Ooh.
Wow. Yeah, I think it's tomorrow night. I know definitely Thursday night I'll be back. That's for sure, because that's when we have the Mandalorian watch party. We get to see more of this and more of this. Not really, but we'll see what happens. And guys,
and he'll tell us all about it on Twitter the next day.
Oh, stop.
I still haven't watched that show.
Kalel, no.
So
that's what I was saying when I opened my Twitter. I was like, I've been avoiding spoilers all day. I think I'll just randomly go on my phone, just check my Twitter, because I mean, surely Nicotina wouldn't try to spoil the whole freaking thing of major characters that show up, would he? Nah. Nicotina!
Oh, Joker, don't even start with that. That's not even funny. That's
Wait, what?
And, he's just being stupid.
Oh, I was like, what the hell? I'm over here making jokes about the Mandalorian. I look down and I'm like, what?
It's just Joker being Joker. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. This was a blast to have this conversation with you guys. And actually, I was hoping Enosh would come on earlier today at work. I was like, man, you know what? I really want to get Enosh on a stream tonight, talking about the whole what's happening with the theaters and all that, because you're very passionate about it, and it's always fun to have this conversation. And a bonus was having Lady Genevieve jump on as well. So this is a lot of fun.
Heck
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you guys.
Enosh, I hope you're not holding any grudges, because I have no beef.
No way.
No, and I know.
No.
Shut up, Nicotina. I am holding a grudge against both of you. You can all both just go to... No.
Come on. Don't bullshit me. Bullshit. 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 Bullshit.
I was wondering if that was ever going to end. No, talking about some BS. Anyways, no. Hey, we are totally cool. I am not mad at anybody. I just want movies, man. I just love movies.
We all do.
I know. I just love movies so much. And I hope you guys. I hope neither one of you take anything that I said here or anywhere else, ever in any kind of personal way or negative way towards any of you guys, because I love you all. I just really love movies, man, and I want to be able to go to the theater and see them. That's all.
And with that, we will leave the show with words of wisdom from Arnold.
What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age!
And
we're still alive.